Sorry, something was weird with the going on here. What's up, Ranger? How are you, man? Hope you're doing well. Since we got 4 people on here and already 3 thumbs up. That's awesome. So we'll do a little name call as people jump in here. YouTube says I haven't gone live yet, so we'll see. And I've got a crazy story for everyone. Very crazy. So I've already talked to some buddies about it, what happened. But hello, Lynn Holt. How are you? We will go ahead and cheers, everyone. Got some Buffalo Trace, and just to be honest with you, I had to add a shot of Evan Williams to the same glass because I ran out of that. So, or I mean, I have another bottle, but I don't want to open a bottle. I just wanted to finish it off. So we kind of did some mixing tonight. I don't know, kind of 2 flavors, I guess, but it is what it is. But yes, I've got a crazy story. Also, I've got some updates that's going to be happening. Hello, Unit 4. How are you? Haven't really been doing any videos, but we're going to get into that. So, Lynn says he's doing outstanding. That's awesome. Still kicking that little cough I had, but we'll get over it. Dexter is in the house. How are you, sir? Major Havoc is on here. He had a live chat last night. Y'all go over and subscribe to him. I can't believe I hadn't subscribed to him before, but I went and subscribed to him last night. But he had a live chat talking about SHOT Show. He was at the good old 2026 SHOT Show, looking at all the 2011s and double stack. I guess we should say double stack 9mm 1911s. Don't want to say 2011. You can only officially say that was staccato. I'm just being a horse's ass, but I know some people say that. I've always called them 2011s, but some people are like, oh no, they're double stack 1911s because staccato has that patent on that name. And I'm like, I know. It's just easier to say it. Oh, and I do have an update. I took, I think I mentioned to y'all that I took my wife's best friend and her boyfriend to shoot. He brought some guns, I brought some guns. I let him try the Masterpiece DS9. He really liked it. And he shot the Shadow 2 full size. And he liked it. And he's been wanting to get into competition and stuff like that, USPSA and stuff, kind of like outlaw matches. Well, anyway, he just called me out of the blue. I guess it was Saturday. Called me out of the blue and said, hey, I got a question for you. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he said, I mentioned to you that I wanted to get into competition. And he had a SIG P320. I can't remember. It was the one with the slide cuts in it. I think y'all told me last time, but I don't keep up with them. But it has the slide cuts in the slide at the front, and it's FDE, and you can put a dot on it, but he didn't have a dot yet. He was wanting to get a plate for his Hollow Sun 507 regular, not the competition. And I told him, I said, man, in a lot of competitions, you can't shoot 320s anymore. And he's like, really? I guess he wasn't really up on it. And I was like, yeah, a lot of them you can't shoot competitions in now. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. So I kind of gave him the gist of it. Well, anyway, I guess he checked around and, like to do some training and stuff like that. And some of the people were like, yeah, you can't shoot 320s. So anyway, he went out and bought a gun. And what's funny is he bought a gun and then he asked me if he should have bought the gun. And he goes, oh, I got me a new gun. And I was like, well, what did you get? And he goes, I got a Shadow 2 optic ready. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great gun. And he goes, yeah, it felt really good in the hand and all that other stuff. He goes, I hope it shoots good. And I said, you just shot one. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, the orange and gray one, that's all tricked out. of mine that I took to the range. I said, you shot the 2011 and you also shot the Shadow 2 full size. And he goes, oh crap, I didn't even realize that was a Shadow 2 full size. And I was like, yeah, it was. So he was like, oh wow, cool. So anyway, he ended up buying a Shadow 2 full size. No, it wasn't a Legion, Dexter. It wasn't a 365 AXG Legion. It's a full size 320. It was like the 5-inch, kind of like the M18, but it has holes, I guess that SIG had in it. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's the 320 AXG, but it's not a Legion frame. Okay, it says the 320 DH3. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it wasn't a metal frame. It was a polymer frame. So, what's up, Babe Barnes? How are you? But anyway, he ended up getting rid of the 320. He said, oh, I'm going to go and trade it in. Now, I don't know what he got for it. I didn't hear. He just said, I'm going to go back in there and get rid of it. So I don't know if he ended up trading for it. If he didn't, he said that he had already bought the Shadow 2 full size. And he has other guns too. But, I think he kind of, once he did some research on the 320 in depth after I had told him, I think he kind of realized, might not be the one to have. So, because he shot it that day, not from the holster or any of that. He had just shot it from the bench at the indoor range. And that brings up another point. He's going to do USPSA and he doesn't have the holster for the Shadow 2. He doesn't have a belt. He doesn't have any of that stuff. So I'm not using my USPSA rig. I think I told you all a long time ago. If I do USPSA again or 2-gun or any of that kind of stuff, I'm going to strictly use battle belt setups. I know some places are like, oh, you can't, it's not accordance to USPSA and all this other stuff, but I don't care if I shoot for points or not. I want to use what I want to use, not what they tell you to use. So I would, and I know that if you don't have the exact equipment, I wouldn't have like a leg rig or any of that kind of shit, but, and I would have the slight drop, on the Safariland, ELS or whatever it's called. But that's what I enjoy shooting with is the battle belt setups more than USPSA battle belt or setups or USPSA belt setups. So he does something in his off time. So I think we're just going to work out a trade where, I give him all of this stuff because it's a double alpha belt. It's double alpha mag pouches. I mean, it's a drop hanger, a boss drop hanger, a Shadow 2 holster. I mean, it's a really nice setup. It's high dollar. It wasn't cheap, but I think we're going to do it in trade with what he manufactures. So, and I'll show on the channel what he manufactures because it's actually right up my alley too. And I was going to buy one from him that he manufactures, but we'll just work it out in trade now. Hello, JJ. How are you doing, buddy? Unit 4 says, Big J, have you ever shot an LTT 92 Beretta? I don't recall you ever talking about one. Yes, I have shot one. With the RDO setup. Really nice pistol. Shoots great. I've owned Berettas way back in the day. Not the LTT because they didn't offer it way back in the day. I just had the standard Beretta 92. I like the Beretta 92s, the Die Hard and the Lethal Weapon version. That's kind of the one I had was the Plain Jane. But I shot the RDO cut with the LTT. It was an awesome gun, had the trigger upgrade, had everything on it. Super nice gun. The only thing I don't like about it, and this is a me problem, not a everybody else problem, I have really big hands and the grip is kind of small. The Shadow 2 grip is longer. So when I would do mag changes with it, I would pinch the meat right here at the bottom of the hand on the LTT, with a Beretta grip. When you're doing fast mag changes, I would always just pinch the shit out of this. Or I'd have to compromise and swing my hand out, to do mag changes. And I just didn't, I'm like, I don't want to manipulate my grip because I've got long thumbs. So like on 2011s, I can push the mag release and drop the slide and all that other stuff with my hands. So it just wasn't super comfortable. And if you run like a magwell, it'll crush your hand up, which is fine, but you can't run magwells in a lot of the competitions unless you run open. So, but is it a great gun? Does it shoot good? Yeah, it shoots really good. So, hello Redbird, how are you? But yeah, I mean, I recommend, the 92 is proven. I mean, it's, it's older technology, but it works. I mean, it's a great platform. I think I still have some 92 mags somewhere. I don't even own a 92 anymore, but I still have some mags. So that's the bad thing. I got shit out the wazoo. Speaking of battle belt, I'm going to start. I've got another battle belt that I need to set up. I've had it for a really long time, prior even to my leg injury. So when I've got all the components, so I need to set that up. I will be doing that. It is a Blue Alpha gear with their new mag pouches, new battle belt setup, inner belt. So I'm going to set that up. And I've got 3 battle belts now. The original one was a Blue Alpha, but it's kind of like their Ranger belt. Like if you're going to propel from a helicopter, which I would never do. So I have that one. I really love it. It's great. I have the Core battle belt, which I really, really like. And this is the Blue Alpha gear. They're kind of lighter, newer generation battle belt. Like you can't hang from a helicopter from it. But that's not what it's designed for anyway. But I'm going to set that belt up. So that way, when I go to the range, I can take those. I will be running from the holster. Also, I'm going to be doing appendix more at the range. So that was one of my things that I wanted to do. Not necessarily for views and clicks and all that shit. I just want to do it to be more proficient. On a personal note, it would probably just be, maybe I just turn on the camera and then just go about my business. Not really like talking. Just if you want to see, you can see. One of those things. And plus I can go back and watch it and go, okay, you need to clean this up, clean that up. Because I definitely have a lot of rust and I need to knock all that off. Been a long time since I've done that. So I do want to be more proficient at it. And with appendix, now I've dry fired in the house, had my rig in and just, gone for light switches. And I've got those little miniature targets I got from Ben Steger. Bought them from his pro shop like 1,000 years ago. So I've got some of those sticking around in here, but I've got a whole bag of them. I bought a two big pack. So I'm going to put them around the garage too. So I will be setting up the battle belts and taking them with me to the range when I practice on my own. If I go, shoot with people, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be, I don't want them to feel, or people that I shoot with, like friends and stuff. I don't want them to be, thinking they got to keep up, but I'm nobody to keep up with. I'm not trying to brag because I'm really not, especially nowadays. I'm definitely way slow. I can still get it out of the appendix pretty fast if I needed to, but, as far as working mags and mag changes and all that, I need a lot of work. What's up, Pranic? How are you, man? I'm definitely slow. What's up, U.S. Navy vet? JJ said, I'm really sore today. I had to shovel my whole driveway and get my mom's car unstuck too. A really long driveway uphill. Ooh, that's not fun. What's up, Marmsman? How are you? Got to set up the battle belt for the Glock 45 Gen 6 in case shenanigans hit the fan again. Yeah. I've got 3 like I said, I've got 2 of them already pre-set up and I've got the other one in the box. So I've got to set it up, but I've got them right here. Also want to set a stand up in the garage, which leads me to my next point. With the cold weather and all that other stuff, I haven't gotten the garage in order to do chats out there, and I've got a bench out there and all that other stuff. So I need to kind of set everything up. I want to set my toolboxes up and get all that squared away. So I will be doing that this weekend for sure. I've looked at the weather report. We've got good weather. It's going to be like in the 70s. So it'll be a nice day to kick the garage open and just start moving everything around, get everything set up, loading the toolboxes. I've got tools everywhere, literally everywhere. I mean, they're in boxes, they're in bins, they're freaking everywhere. So I've got to unload toolboxes to the new toolbox. I know I've been talking about that for a while, but I'm literally going to do it this weekend. Probably drag the wife in to help me. So she doesn't know it yet, but hopefully she'll be game to help me out. Last night, my wife had a headlight that went out. And I was looking at it. She goes, yeah, the headlights don't seem to be very bright. And I'm like, what? So anyway, I started looking at them, and they had all that gunk on them from the roads. She hadn't gone through the car wash yet. And we've got that car wash plan where you can drive through and vacuum it out yourself and detail it if you want. And I said, oh, you got muck all over the headlights. So I cleaned them all off. And I was like, kick them on. So she kicked them on, and I noticed one of the projection beams were out. And I'm like, oh, crap. Well, anyway, I went and got her the brighter, lighter, or, they're more white, brilliant white, but they're super bright. They're the, really bright ones. Not LED, but they're the brightest projection beams you can get. So I put those in last night, and I had to take the front end apart to do it. It was a pain in the ass, but, I bought a pair, so I had to change both of them when one of them was out. And got the battle scars, because everything's made for like little-handed people in there when you're digging around trying to pop those bulbs out. But anyway, I took the air box off the throttle body and went ahead and cleaned the mass air intake, or the mass air sensor, cleaned it, cleaned out the housing, filter housing, and all that stuff, and put it all back together. So I don't know, it took about an hour, probably do all of it, but anyway, she was testing it out. She said, oh my God, they're bright. They're so bright. I really like them. So anyway, I got the thumbs up that I guess she approves. Battle belts. They're kind of all across the board. I will give suggestions on them. I know the core battle belt is awesome. I really do like it a lot. Blue Alpha gears are awesome. And you can kind of buy the belt, buy what mag pouches you want, kind of set it up the way you want. So, it varies on what you pick, JJ. So, let's see here. Let me catch back up. Let's see here. LMA Jeff says my range to go with is what I favor of the day. From what I don't know, I don't know what that means. Navy Vet says, the leak is fixed on my truck. It was from the heater core. Yeah. Oh, the heater core line off the water pump. Hell, that's easy. Yeah. Replaced all the fittings up in lower heater core hoses and the surge tank. Threw in a new thermostat. Good deal. Yeah, that's way easier than doing the heater core itself. Unit 4 says, when you are working on your next project, you'll realize that you don't own the tool you need. That's the bad thing. I got tools everywhere, but they're all in boxes. And I was like, oh, I need an 8mm, I need this and that. So I just went to my little quick, all-in-one ratchet. I didn't break out the impact gun or the impact guns or anything. Core with the inner and outer belts, yeah. And Blue Alpha Gear has the inner and outer belts too. And they also have a pad system where you don't have to wear the inner belt, like you could put it over a coat and you just put the pads in it and the pads kind of stick to your coat. So, I've got those pads too, so I can use it as an overbelt for a jacket or inner and outer belt. Whatever I choose, I just pop those pads off. So it is a pretty cool setup. I've never used the inner pads before. So Kurt sent me those as well. I've worked with Core for a long time, and I've worked with Blue Alpha Gear for a long time. So once I get that set up, I'll put some codes on there and stuff like that for you guys. Let's see here. JJ says, cool, might get one for my P10C. Thanks for the info. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's good. I put it on sometimes. You know, even in the house, I won't put the over or the inner belt on. I'll just put the over belt on and then go around the house and, you know, draw and do light switches from down the hallway and stuff like that. Arms that says this 60-degree weather in Florida is killing me. It's killing all those damn iguanas. That's for sure, man. I've seen those things. Some of them look like freaking dogs. They're so big. Yeah, Pranic, that's what I was saying this weekend. We're supposed to be in the 70s. Damn. Ranger says hadn't been over 30 in the past 3 weeks. Damn. Yeah, that's cold, you know, that much. That's why I don't like that. And yeah, it's been really nice here. I mean, I've been going outside and stuff like that in shorts and all that stuff, so it's good. Um, so we'll be getting the garage squared away this weekend and the battle belt set up for the third belt. I'm kind of setting them up different ways. They're all different colors. So I'm kind of setting them up different ways. One's going to be like a fast belt. One will be more detailed, and I got the med kits on 2 of them. But this next Blue Alpha gear, it won't have a med kit on it. Now I can move med kits around, but this last one is going to be kind of like a faster belt setup, so to say. So it'll have a holster, 1 AR mag, 3 pistol mags, holders. So it's going to be a lighter, kind of like roll it up if you want to take it with you kind of belt. What's up, Pop Doctor? How are you, brother? Yeah, y'all go over and subscribe to Pop Doctor, Havoc. I haven't seen Trigger Bar yet, but y'all go do that. Seen that guy that hunts iguanas with the air rifle in Florida. Looks fun. Yeah, but they're actually freezing in Florida. They're falling out of trees. And some of these things without the tails, I mean, they look like freaking dogs. They're huge. That's without the tails. So they were freezing, and when they freeze, they fall out of these trees, and people are finding them in their yards and just stacking them in the back of their pickup trucks. It's crazy. Armsman says we need some tactical traction videos from you, Big J, maybe doing a cartwheel off the truck and ringing steel. No, I'm not doing that. My cartwheel days are over. Don't think the leg will hold up to that. You know, the leg is getting better though. So I'm walking somewhat more normal and more quickly now. Oh, he was warming them up when they're not dead. Damn. There was one guy that was like cooking them up. He was making tacos out of them, and I'm like, I don't think I'd be eating some iguanas. Ugh. That didn't sound good. Oh, they freeze, and then once they get warmed up, they start moving again. Damn. Yeah, those suckers are vicious, man. They get those big old claws. They move super fast. I've seen some of those suckers fly through, you know, brush pretty quickly. One thing I didn't, so we'll get, you know, the tools are going to get handled this weekend or attempted. I mean, I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm kind of setting up like a little area where I can do some videos and stuff like that out there. And I'll have like a bench like this and, you know, the toolbox and probably a rack with the bins, you know, with gun parts in it, and I can do some builds out there and stuff like that, and then show tools on videos and stuff. So we'll get that all set up. So I got that battle belt set up, but I had an incident happen. This is well, I've had weird things happen, but this is probably the weirdest. I'm just going to tell the story. If y'all got questions after, I'll answer. It's probably going to be, I'll try to make it as quick as possible. But if you throw any comments in there, I might not see them while I'm going through this story. So it's very, very weird. Okay. I was at a dealership. I'm not going to say the dealership name or anything like that. But I was visiting with the dealer, the parts manager, and all those guys back there. And I was getting the truck serviced, a company truck. You know, oil change, tire rotation, stuff like that. So anyway, while that was being serviced, I was going back and talking to the guys and telling them all that stuff. Um, and I had to take a whiz. So we'll just keep this PG-13. So I had to go take a whiz. So went into the men's bathroom, went to the urinal. There's 2 urinals. There's 2 stalls. 2 urinals are side by side. Sinks over there. So I was at the urinal doing my business, minding my own business. And I'm not a hugger, you know, where people, it's weird, but you know how people hug the urinal. I'm not a hugger. Just standing there doing my business. Heard the door open. You know, I don't turn. I go, hey, how are you? You know, I just don't do that. I don't think a lot of guys do that. Maybe y'all do, but I don't. So, you know, it's kind of like look forward. You can talk, but you just kind of look forward, mind your business. So I never talked. Sitting there doing my business. Something felt weird. So I turned around. When I turned around, a head was literally right there. And on this head, there was a camera. It was a head band thing, and it had a freaking camera attached to it. I don't know if it was a GoPro. I don't know. It had a red light on it. So y'all will have to tell me. I don't know the brand. I don't know any of that. But there was a red light. It was lit up. Not a flash. Not like a white light. Just a little red LED light. So when I turned around, his head was on my side of this little bitty tiny wall between the urinals. There was a wall about this big. His head was right here. And I turned, it was weird because I was minding my business. I turned and his head was right there with the camera. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you know, what the hell? And he's like, oh, it's not on. It's not on. It's not on. It's not on. He started yelling that, or like talking loudly. He was a smaller Asian man, had a big backpack on, and had this headband with a freaking GoPro sticking right there on the side of his head, aimed at me with a red light on it. And I was like, what the shit? You know, I mean, I'm just like, what is going on? So I went, moved around, washed my hands, went out the door into the waiting room. So I'm standing at the waiting room, looking at the bathroom door, because there's a men and a women's little hallway. And everything was going through my mind. Is this guy in there filming me? You know, I can't beat the shit out of him in the middle of a dealership, you know, because I'll be the assailant, or whatever you call it. I can't rip the camera off of him because I don't know if he was really filming. And if you grab people's cameras, like with these protests, you know, and damage their equipment, then you're in trouble and all this other shit. So I couldn't punch him. I couldn't grab his camera gear or whatever. So I was standing out in the waiting room, probably 12, 15 feet from the bathroom doors, the little hallway. And I was standing there and I'm just thinking to myself, everything's going through my head. Like, what in the shit is this guy doing? So I was standing there. I was waiting for him to come out. I was going to question him. I was going to be like, what the hell are you doing? You know? And then if I needed to call the cops. But if I called the cops, that's my customer. It's just a weird situation. I never saw the guy in the dealership while I was in the back. I don't know if he dropped a car off. I don't know what he was doing there. He came out of the hallway. I saw him walk and I started walking towards him. He ran out to the service drive. There's a door right there. There's a door at the parts department, then the waiting room, and then there's another door that goes out to the service drive. And then they have the big bay doors. Y'all have, you know, been in dealerships before, I'm sure. So he walks out, he sees me, he looks at me, and then he turns and he goes out the dealership, or out the service drive doors, across the service drive, and I'm like walking out there as fast as I can. There's a bunch of trucks on the service drive. He walks through these trucks, gets into a white Honda, and then drives off. A four-door Honda Accord. I couldn't get the license plate number. I couldn't do anything. You know, they took off kind of fast. So I'm like, am I on a video? I mean, I'm like, this is the weirdest shit that's ever happened to me. You know, I'm like, if I call the cops, they would say, what did he look like? And I'd be like, he's a short Asian man with a backpack and a head, you know. I mean, I'm like, what do? I mean, it's the weirdest shit that's ever happened to me. you know, when I was like, what the hell, what do you do? Or like, what's up? Or what, I think I said, what the hell? And he's like, it's not on, it's not on, it's not on. So for one, I don't know that much about GoPros. So is the red light on? Is the red light off? Is the red light low battery? Why did he have a headlight, or why did he have a camera on his head? Um, and I thought, well, I could start asking people in the dealership, like, hey, did y'all see a little guy with a camera on his head? But then I thought, well, they're going to be like, why? No, what happened? And I don't want their name on the TV. I don't want. I was at a loss for words. So, I told my wife about it, told my daughter about it, told some friends about it. And they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, I know. It's never happened to me. So, what should I have done? What would y'all have done? I mean, again, can't punch the guy. I don't want assault charges against me. I can't rip his camera off of him. All this shit was going through my head. And yeah, that's another thing, Dexter. If I was going to ask, because I know all the guys there, I was going to be like, hey, can you pull up surveillance? Who was this guy? Did he drop off a car? Is he a customer? Because if he's a customer who dropped off a car, I could easily get his name and his telephone number to give to the cops. But did he see me go in there and then he went in there? But when I went into the waiting room, I didn't see him anywhere. I didn't see him sitting in they got those big chairs. I didn't see him sitting in there, and then when I went to the bathroom, he got up and went to the bathroom. I didn't see him anywhere in there. So did he just go in to use the restroom? I don't know. Is that his gig where he goes to different bathrooms and films people? I don't know. And if I had the police involved, they would say, what did he look like? And he's like a short Asian person with a backpack on, and they'd be like, okay. I didn't see tattoos or any, like distinguishing markings. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about it, and I did not get the dealership involved. I didn't start questioning them about, hey, did you see this guy? Pull up your surveillance. Because for one, they're going to be like, whoa, what's going on? And then I'd have to tell the story to them. And, they're my customers. So I just felt weird about that. I mean, I've never, ever had this happen. Ever. I've seen, like videos where guys go into bathrooms and stuff and try to film kids and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, that's creepy. But I've never had anything like that happen to me. And am I going to end up on a video? If I am, probably won't be the first one. Or did he do anything? Did he film me? I don't know. Was he running a live feed? Was he doing a live stream? I don't know. I'm like, this is just weird as shit. So, I don't know. I thought about calling my parts manager buddy and go, hey, pull up the film or whatever, the surveillance, and he would. But then also I felt awkward about that, because what if the guy really wasn't filming? I don't want to get somebody in trouble if they really weren't doing something and I couldn't prove it. Because if I would have held the guy, I thought about this too while I was waiting for him to come out of the bathroom. If I held this guy or did anything or grabbed his equipment or whatever and he didn't film me, then I'm the idiot. You know what I mean? But why would somebody come in the bathroom with a camera on their head? I mean, he had this big backpack. So if you're going to go to the bathroom, pop that off your head, throw it in your backpack, and go to the bathroom. I mean, I don't know. This is just weird as shit. So I don't know. I mean, stuff was going through my head like, what do I do? It's just the weirdest shit. I'm like, I've never had this happen. So I mean, he didn't come in there to like beat me up or anything, but I'm like, I felt, like Armsman said, he goes, man, I feel violated. And I was like, well, I do, but it's like, I don't know what the hell to think. It's weird. I've had a lot of weird shit happen, but I've never had that happen. It was the first time ever. And it was just weird as shit. So, it happened yesterday. So, yeah, it happened yesterday at about, it happened yesterday at about, I don't know, lunchtime, 11, 10:30, something like that, 9:30, 10:30. Um, I was there for a couple hours, visiting with them and getting the truck serviced. But it's just weird as shit. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I'm thinking a bunch of stuff about it, but I keep thinking, what the hell can I do? I don't know anything to do. So anyway, there you go. So, and one of my buddies said, oh, maybe he knew you, or maybe he was a fan or something. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. But the bad thing is also, I report it to the police, that would be my local police. And I know the police captain because it's in my local town where it happened. So that's another weird thing. It would be local people, and I don't want their name, the dealership's name being defamed or whatever it's called. I don't want people to think, oh, I can't go there and be safe, women and children and things like that. I just don't want to cause any issues with my customer either. It's kind of a weird position. So, but anyway, that's what happened. So, what would y'all have done? I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of stuff happen, and I can, like if somebody confronted me or was trying to rob me or whatever, that's a whole different thing. This is like something I've never experienced before. I've dealt with, people asking for money and they were kind of shady. I've dealt with shit like that before, but never with this. So, but yeah, and I could go back and ask, my guy, like, hey, can you look at your, camera on this day at this time for your waiting room? And just, he'd be like, well, what are you talking about? I just, I want to see it. He'd probably show it to me. But again, I don't want to cause a red flag there, because they have women who work there and, all this other stuff. And I don't want to cause a problem, but I'm like, who the hell was this guy? Is this, did they drive around and do this at other places? I don't know. So, yeah, I get a new sponsor. No, I'm not going to do that. But like I said, I'm not going to start a new channel, but I'm just like, man, I don't know what the hell to do. Yeah, defamation. Um, I don't want to cause a problem for them, and I don't want to be the crybaby who's like, oh, I think this happened or whatever. I don't know what to be. I don't know what to do. Yeah, and somebody told me to reach out to the police because this guy might be doing this at other places or other businesses, and maybe he could be. Um, but again, I mean, if I describe him, he was a shorter guy, Asian. I don't know Vietnamese, Korean. I don't know that. It was like an FDE tactical backpack. It was looked like an Oakley backpack, and it was huge. The backpack was huge. I mean, it was like this thick hanging on his back. So, I don't know. And one of my buddies said, oh, he's probably live streaming and you're live in some other country. And I was like, oh, great. I mean, it is what it is. So hope they enjoy what they see. But yeah, Ranger says I would have explained it to the business and let them make the decision to pursue it. And maybe that's what I'll do. I mean, I've been thinking about it and I'm like, man, what should I do? Should I say anything? And I could easily just head up there or even call him and be like, hey man, just want to let you know something happened, just want to let y'all be aware of it. Maybe that's what I'll do. But it was just one of those weird things where it happened. I've got answers for a lot of things. I didn't have an answer for this. Because again, if he didn't do anything, if he really wasn't filming, I don't want to hurt his reputation. It's like I'm caring about something that happened to me, but did it happen to me? But he was definitely over on my side of the wall. When I turned around, we were almost touching. I almost touched his face when I turned around. So he was literally checking something out. Um, anyway, that was weird. So Armstrong said, I think I would have snatched the camera off his head, violated my space. Yeah, and I mean, I thought about that. I'm like, I could have just grabbed the camera and been like, hey, till we figure this out, I'm not going to break your camera, but till we figure this out, and then I don't know if it had an SD card. I don't know if he was live. I don't know any of this. But I thought, oh, worst comes to worst, he runs off. And then I give the camera to the police. But then I thought, man, if I steal his equipment, then they'll say I stole his equipment, and then I'll get in trouble, in my customer's business, So I just didn't, I don't know. I was in a weird position. So all I can say going forward is, I guess if I would have turned around as he walked in the door and I saw a camera, I could have been like, whoa, dude, you need to get out of here and take the camera off. But I don't normally greet people while I'm peeing, so I don't know. Maybe he was conducting an inspection of what? Does Texas have a law that you have to inform someone if they're being filmed? Supposedly in a public place. I think it's every state, if I remember correctly. I don't think you have to inform anybody, I don't think. Now, this was a restroom. I would think there would be some sort of law or something. So I don't know. But again, this happened. Never had it happen before. Didn't know what to do. But I've heard it's like freedom of press where they can, I can just walk around and film outside of businesses and stuff like that. But I think when you go into the business, I think they can cite public property. So maybe you can film, maybe you can't. I don't know. But it had a red light. So if any of y'all, and I don't have GoPros, I have one. I've never even turned it on. It's not a GoPro, it's some other brand. But if you know GoPros and I can't say it was the GoPro name brand, I don't know. But it was a camera, it was a little square camera, and it had a red light on it. So does the red light mean filming? I've heard some people say it means filming. I've heard some people say that's a low battery. I've heard people say that it means it's off. So I don't know. I mean, if y'all do these cameras, y'all would know. But it was definitely a bright red light. Pop Doctor said that is definitely illegal to film in a bathroom, and that's what I thought too. I thought it was illegal to film in a bathroom or like a locker room or something at a gym. I thought that was illegal. Recording someone in a bathroom without consent is illegal. That's what I thought. Yeah, and that's Dexter. That's also, I don't know what brand of camera it was because I've heard some people say, oh, GoPros, some of them are green, when you're filming. So I didn't get the brand, I guess I would have if I would have grabbed it. I would talk to the business. At your business, we turned surveillance over to the cops after a crime and they were able to track him down. Okay. Well, and maybe I will talk to them. I just, again, I've never had this happen. It was just very weird, and I'm not like, oh my God, I'm sensitive if I'm on camera, y'all know me, but I mean, definitely the business was out. So, Lynn says, seriously, what if your wife came home and told you this story? Oh yeah, I know. And that's exactly why I told my wife and my daughter, because I'm just like, man, y'all got to be aware of this stuff because it happened to me. So that's why I shared that with them, because of course they're female too. Or they're female, I shouldn't say too, but I meant they're female. So that's even more reason to be on the alert. But it was just very strange. So there's a video of Big J floating around on some website. Shake my head. It's probably not the first time. I was in college and high school, so like I said, they just add to the videos, I guess. Yeah, but it was very strange. So if y'all happen to be in a bathroom, maybe you need to, while you're peeing, if somebody walks in, just kind of look and see if they have a camera. This might be something that's going on now. I have no idea. So I kind of wanted to bring it up on the chat, not for anybody to be like, oh, Big J's a victim, not that. Just if y'all see something, I want you to be aware of it. Because like I said, if I would have turned my head and saw him walk in with a camera, I'd been like, whoa, dude, you need to get out of here. You got a camera on your head. But I never did. I was just minding my business because this never happened. I never thought something like that would happen. So very, very strange. But anyway, so all right, we can move on to something else. I've wasted enough time with this, but I just wanted y'all to be aware of it in case. Dutch says no idea either, and some people only use a stall for a reason when they're really in. Yeah, and even Armsman, I was telling him the story, and he's like, "Man, I would just use a stall," and I'm like, I mean, if I'm peeing, I just go to the urinal. I mean, that's just what I've always done. Um, you know, unless it's taken. If there's people standing there, then I'll go to a stall if I need to. But you know, because like I said, I've told the story before, but I use the core belts, and I carry the 12 o'clock position. But when I need to do the business, I just like grab the DCC clips, slide it over at the urinal, slide it over, open the core belt, not completely open, just open it like a hula hoop where it's still attached, and then do my business and zip up, move the gun back, click, 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 and wash my hands and take off. So I don't go in and get undressed in a stall or anything. Yeah, Pop Doctor says if you had a legitimate reason, why run away? And that's what I thought too. I'm like, if it really wasn't on, and he came, that's when I was waiting for him. I'm like, I'm just going to confront this guy, in a nice way, not to embarrass him or anything. I was just going to be like, get up to him and go, dude, what the hell's going on? I mean, I think we need to call the police or something, but he looked right at me and he just went, phew. And he didn't run. He just, the doors were literally right there. So he walked out. You either go to the doors or you walk back into the waiting room. So he looked at me, headed for the doors, and took right out. So this is weird. I was probably sizing you up literally. I don't know. So it was very strange. But anyway, I did want to ask, if anybody more SHOT Show stuff has came out. Because I've had people, some people reach out, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Anything that you're seeing that you're going to get, anything you're excited about, blah, blah, blah. And like I talked about before, I do like the little Steiner MPSC. I think it's the little compact RMSC footprint. I think that's kind of cool. Really, guns, I'm like, nothing super exciting. Honestly, there's nothing that's just like, oh my God, you got to have this. PSA has some kind of cool stuff out, like you could build this, put this trigger group in this and a PDW and all that. That stuff's kind of cool. We'll just see how it plays out. The PSA Saber 11, I guess it is, the 2011 with the ports and the Icarus grip. That does look pretty cool. They're saying the price point would be like 2,000 Sopapias. So that's what they're guesstimating it at, supposedly. We'll see if that pans out for people. Also, when people get it out in the wild, how it runs. That could be a good option for some people. The Canic Prime Radian, that seems kind of cool. Y'all know I don't own any Canics. I have in the past. That would probably be a Canic that I would buy because I love the Radian Ramjet. So if I see that at TGE or something like that, or a buddy gets it, I've got friends who do YouTube as well. So if one of them get it from Canic or something, I might say, hey, can I shoot it? And if I like it, I would probably get it. That would be my first Canic in a long time. I think I haven't had a Canic in maybe 4 or 5 years. But also, do I need a striker fire gun? Another one? No, I don't. But that would be a bigger size slimline. And I really do love my Shadow System CR920 XP. I really do love it. But it's a little smaller. So where this Canic Prime would be thin, but it would be a little bit bigger grip. So would that be a bad thing? Not for me. So I'm kind of interested in that. But, we'll see how that goes. Olight PLX shaking the weapon mounted light market. Yeah, okay. For some people. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody that has one or likes it or whatever. But I don't care anything about that. I have a lot of stream lights, really love them. TLR7 HLX, great light, great offering. I don't want where you have to switch between like a high mode and a low mode or whatever. That switch, that's just something else to break. Um, in my opinion, also recharging it, you can't just pop it open and throw a battery in it. So if you are doing a light course, um, you're going to smoke that battery probably pretty quick, keeping that light on for a long time. If you're at a practice event or whatever, or night shooting, you're going to smoke that. What are you going to do? Take it off your gun, charge it. You know, the other ones you just unscrew the front, throw a new battery in it, you're good to go. Or you would have the rechargeable batteries on the standby, and maybe you can do that. Or no, you can't do that with this one because it plugs into the unit itself. So you have to actually stop, plug it in, you know. And also when you're charging it, you're leaving your gun and trigger completely exposed on the counter, which, you know, I have a grandbaby now, so that wouldn't be happening, you know. So it is what it is, but I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't, I'm not interested in it. There's too many better options out there. Also, even for holster compatibility, there's already stuff set up for streamlights all across the board. This O-Light thing, hell, next month they'll make a different model where it's a whole different holster, you know, where it has to be made for a mold. Dexter says, Big J, did you hear Piro comments? Piro, talking about Judge Piro? Is that who you're talking about? I don't know if I did or not. So you have to let me know what they are. Armsman says, I think I'm more excited about the new optics than any firearms this year. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I think optics are going to be a really cool thing. Holosun has a whole ton of them too that I'm interested in. Like I said, I've already got the guns that I really, really enjoy. Is one striker fire better than another? You know, lipstick on a pig, like I've said before. Um, you know, does one have other features? Maybe. Um, you know, 2011s, I love the ones I have. I think I have 4 or 5 of them. Do I need another one? Not really. Is another one going to do something better than the ones I have? Probably not really. So, you know, I'm not really need that. As far as long guns, I don't need any of those. I don't need shotguns. So nothing super, super exciting out there for me in the gun world. I just kind of like that little prime Radian thing. Piro said she doesn't care if you have a permit in another state, and tried to backpedal and say she's a gun owner and supports the Second Amendment. Later, follow-up questions. Man, I wish some of these people would just shut up. I mean, I really do. And I've liked her in the past. I know some people just spew shit and don't really know what the hell they're doing, or saying. But I hate when people say, I'm a gun owner, but. There's no but in the Constitution. You know, so if you're a 2A advocate, you're a 2A advocate, not a but. There's no buts. There's no, oh, but you have to have training, or but you have to have a permit, but you have to have, no. It's your God-given right. So, trained, not trained, whatever. You have the right to carry a firearm, period. End of sentence. All these blue states that are going against the Constitution, I wish somebody would just come out and say, no more of this shit and let people be free. Especially in Virginia now, all this crap that's happening to those poor people. But again, some of them voted for it, or a lot of them voted for it apparently. So I don't know, but it sucks, you know. So, and again, y'all have heard me say this many, many times. There has to be a point in your life that you do what you need to do. So I'll just leave it at that. I think you know where I'm going with this, but all this, oh, you can do this, but you can't do this, and you can do this, but you can't do that. Yeah, there's got to be a point in your life where you're just like, I'm too old for this shit. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. So there you go. That's kind of my opinion on all this stupid shit and all this crap. They're saying this is going to be a law and that's going to be a law and blah blah blah. And Nope. I'm tired of that shit. Been tired of it. And if y'all have been following me, you know how I feel and you know what I've said. I will do what I gotta do. Arms said if I get a Gen 6 G45, it will be the Koa. Yeah, I think the Koa is cool. I mean, it's on everything now. From the SHOT Show, I guess the contract eased up with Glock, like I was saying before. Dexter said they tried to ban alcohol once, and that didn't work out so well. Exactly. And do you think we're gonna? I've said this so many times. Do you really think a bunch of good old boys are gonna be like the Australians and just go, "Here you go, take it, it's yours now"? Do you think that's gonna happen? No, it ain't gonna happen. It would be a cold day in hell before that ever happened. It would not happen here. Nope. Oh, man. That's what I said. And we got to say this about a bunch of the blue states. I mean, people vote for this shit. And granted, Texas could turn blue. You know, it's almost turned purple before. I mean, that can happen in any state. But again, just because your state turns blue or whatever, still got to be a point where you're just like, I'm done with this shit. I'm literally done. So, and I think all of us as gun owners were probably on a list. If you got suppressors or SBRs, you're on a list. If you know, and I'm just like, man, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Yeah, I'm with you, JJ. I do what I want when I want. You know, and I get hit up all the time. I mean, not just on the chat, but people are like, oh my God, did you hear what happened here? Did you hear what happened here? Did you hear what happened here? Can you believe this happened? And I'm just like, nothing surprises me anymore. People just open their mouth and just shit comes out, just literal shit. And I'm like, I don't listen to those people. I mean, you know, you can just turn it off. But everybody gets sucked into this bull crap. You know, this person said this person said that, you know. And like I've said, even about this incident that happened in Minneapolis. Okay, I've been asked about it. Okay, I'm old, I'm stuck in my ways, but if you do stupid shit, you win stupid prizes. You know, I don't wish anybody to not be here, and I'm trying to say this the correct way, I guess, or the YouTube way. But if you do stupid shit, you're going to have stupid consequences. Or not stupid, but you're going to be dealt with. You know, I know if somebody was attacking me, they're going to be dealt with. If you go up and start, you can peacefully do it. You have that right. And I'm 100% behind that right. But when you start impeding situations and start putting yourself in those situations, you need to be dealt with. Now, there could be different ways to be dealt with, but, you know, I just don't understand why people put themselves in stupid and I really want to cuss, but I don't understand why people put themselves in those they get so mind bent that it's them and their way is the only way. And they gotta assert themselves in all of these other people's situations. Why? Why? I know you believe in what you believe in, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. But if you're also caring, which this person was, if you are caring, that puts yourself in a different situation. If I'm caring and I go and start doing dumb shit and somebody sees it or whatever, they're going to be like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. He's trying to hurt us. Because you've put yourself in that situation as a carrier, as a legal carrier. Am I going to insert myself in stupid shit? No, I'm not. So there you go. Useful idiot, yeah. Yeah, Ice Age again, yeah. Is Glock going to return to other calibers? If so, when? Navy vet, I don't think they're going to. I really don't. I think they're going to stay with 9 and 10 millimeter. I really do. I don't think they're going to go to 40 and 45 anymore. Redbird says right on, Big J. Useful idiot, yep. Pop Doctor says it's not a question of whether he was flexing his First or Second Amendments. He literally broke the law by destroying federal property, assaulting an officer by spitting on them, and then obstructing LEO. Yes, and he also broke the taillight out of a vehicle. So, you know, that's destruction of, what is it called? Oh, there's a word for it. Is it destruction of private property? Because that was a owned vehicle, or if like somebody came up and started beating the crap out of my truck, I mean, I'd run over them. But you know what I mean. I say celery sticks instead of cussing. Yeah, I'm trying to clean up my mouth. You don't get to break the law and still have your rights. Bad situation for sure. Wish he didn't do what he did and put everyone in the crap. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to take responsibility for your own damn actions. I mean, I've said it before. If you're a drunk driver and you're driving around drunk and you take out a family, you did that. You were drinking and you drove. You know, I drink and I'm at home. You know, if I drank too much and fell down, that's my fault. But if you assault someone, you're going to suffer the consequences one way or the other. You know, you can't just start beating up vehicles and spitting on people and stuff like that. I mean, you're an idiot. You're a freaking idiot. Ranger says the first rule of carrying a firearm is to avoid conflict with anyone, especially LAO. Yes, and I've always said that. If you are a carrier, you got to conduct yourself, I mean, a certain way. You have to carry yourself and be aware of situations. You don't throw yourself out there and just start beating up people and doing stupid shit. You just don't. Yep, it's called responsibility. Yeah. Yep, Castle Doctrine. We've got it here in Texas. And that's what I'm saying. You don't see completely, I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen, but most uncompletely unruly shit doesn't happen in a lot of the red states. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just not as common. Because, you know, you let people get away with an inch, they're going to take a mile. And if you nip that shit in the butt and get people shut down, it ain't going to last for long. But if you just let them go out, oh, we can't, you know, we don't want to hurt anybody. If they're doing stupid shit and tearing up vehicles and police property and all that stuff, man, they need to be hogtied. I mean, they need to get out there with some lassos. And I used to lasso way back in the day. Probably couldn't swing a freaking rope to save my life today, but, you know, I mean, you throw a rope on some people and start dragging them around, they're not going to be doing dumb shit anymore. Yeah, Dexter, I've been seeing that. A lot of people are getting bussed in and paid. Yeah. Yeah, Zeus, you're correct. Logic, not emotion, avoid stupid prizes. That's like all these people just have this, you know, what is it, TDS? And I'm not going to say the word because y'all, you know, everybody knows what it means. But all this crap, and then, you know, I didn't watch it because I won't, but I was hearing about, what was it, the Grammys or something. All these people were staying, you know, these actors and actresses were saying all this stupid shit. You know, I'm like, you people live in fortresses. You've got walls around your home. Are you inviting all these illegals into your home to live with you? No, but you're saying stupid shit like this? Who the hell are you? You're not real people. You know, you're the one percenters, you know? I mean, you're not the average Joes out there working their ass off, blue collar jobs to feed a family. You're just not. So shut your ass up. Go sit in your hole. German Shepherds work great, yeah. Many people don't understand the responsibility of carrying. It's a higher standard. I tried to explain to someone the other day at Crickets. Yeah, I've always said that, even to buddies, who are, they like guns, but they're not gun guys or gun women. I've always said, I'm like, you gotta have you gotta carry yourself a certain way. And that brings me to another point. I've got 3 o'clock carriers, I've got 4 o'clock carriers, buddies, and I've talked to them, and I've been like, and some of them have a belly like me, the tactical muffin. I'm not the most form-fitted person in the world, but I'm speaking from experience. I carried appendix forever. Then when I got bigger, like way bigger, I moved to the 3 o'clock. And then at one time I was at the 4 o'clock. And then I was like, you know what? I need to lose some weight. So I lost weight, went back to the appendix. I've been at appendix, and I still have a muffin. It's a bigger muffin, but I still carry appendix. And I've told them, I'm like, you're carrying at 3 or 4 o'clock position. For one, if you're in your vehicle and you've got your seatbelt on and clicked, how the hell are you going to get to your gun if you had to in a carjacking situation? You can't. Are you going to lean up, go, hang on, unbuckle your seatbelt, reach back, grab it, come up? No, you're not going to have time to do that shit. I carry at the appendix, got my seatbelt on, pull it up, tuck the seatbelt behind the gun so it doesn't crush in a crash behind the gun. And I mean, literally, it's that quick. And I'm coming up to the window. So I'm like, and also walking through a convenience store. There's been things where people are paying at the convenience store and they've got it at the 4 o'clock. Somebody grabs it right off of them and uses their gun against them. There's all these different scenarios, not protesting, but I'm just saying in the real world, where it's like, kind of be aware of your surroundings. Don't open carry. Just don't even invite that. And I know you have the right to do what you want to do, and I'm not telling you what to do. This is just a recommendation. But if you're open carrying and it's in a urban environment, not a country, if you're out in the country or in the woods, open carry, do what you want to do, I don't care. Or if you're in a town environment, but in an urban city, people are just looking for that. And they're going to be the first sucker that they go after. They're going to get that gun, one way or the other. If you take a couple out or whatever. I mean, don't put yourself in that situation. Don't be a target. Just plan accordingly. And I'm not the teller of all. I'm not the people to tell you what to do. I'm just giving opinions. So take it for what you want. But at the appendix, everything is right there. We all project, as a man, we all protect our junk. We don't want to get kicked in the junk or whatever. Okay? Think about it. You got your junk there, you got your business, you got your firearm there. It's your most protected area. You're not going to walk into somebody with your arms up and nut bump them. You're not going to do that. So they're not going to know you have a gun on. You've got the most control at your appendix position, in my opinion, because I've tried them all. Reaching back, getting into a weird position to get it out, that's not fast enough. I mean, literally, I can stand there, sit there, and I can come out quick. If I'm bending over, that slows me down. I have to tilt. I have to do weird things. You do not have to do that with appendix. Also, grabbing your shirt, ripping it up. Here, you're grabbing your shirt way back here. How are you going to do that? Seriously. You're going to reach back, lift your shirt up with the same hand, then try to pull the gun out? You're going to hang up. You're going to. It's been proven many, many, many times. So, but there you go. Down here in the armpit of Texas, you have to carry, where are you, Bad Karma? Are you in Houston? I call that the toilet bowl of Texas. But yeah, you got to carry everywhere. Yeah, I did see that, Dexter. That's funny. They're trying to get lawsuits against her saying that she needs to give up her land. I think that's going to be funny. You do stupid shit. Ranger says, I don't wear seatbelts when I get in my truck. I take my weapon out of the holster or reholster before I get in. Yeah, and some people do that. I know some people that carry in the center console. I know some people, and I used to have a holster that I would actually lock not lock it, but I would it was actually a holster. I've got videos if you go 1,000 years back. It was a left-handed Safariland that I drilled into the side console where I could take the gun out when it was in the 4 o'clock. I could take the gun out, put it in that, and then all I did was just push the button on the Safariland, push the button and pull it straight up. However, I still feel more comfortable having it on my person. If y'all remember back from my incident where I crushed my leg and did all that shit, I had a gun on me when I fell out of the back of that truck. And when the nurse and the husband were walking their dog down the street and found me in the concrete laying there, they helped me to the truck, to the tailgate, and she had called the ambulance because my leg was just shattered. I mean, my leg was just flopping around. So anyway, she called the ambulance, and I was like, hey, can you do me a favor? Here's my house key. I had my keys in my pocket. I said, here's my house key. I said, I have a piece on me. I said, can you please go and set it on the bar? And I told my wife where it was so she could put it up. But I said, can you please set it on the bar and lock my door and hand me the keys back? And she's like, sure. So I grabbed the DCC clips, popped it out with my leg flopping around. Gave her the whole complete holster and everything, and she went and put it on the bar because, I had to go to the hospital. So in an ambulance, and that would be a whole fun thing with the cops and everything. They'd be like, oh my God, he's got a gun. They would freak out. So I was just like, let's leave that here, get in the ambulance, go about our way. So I had that happen 100 years ago too. A truck had hit me from behind, and I was pushed into another car, and I had one on me. And, I was kind of pinned, and it had pinched the door. I could get the door partially open, and I got out of the truck. And they were like, the officer was like, hey, no, you stay in there. We got to check you. And I'm like, I'm fine, I think. But he was like, no, you just sit there. And when he came to the car, I gave him my driver's license and my LTC because it was in Texas. And I said, I have that on me. And he's like, well, you got to go to the hospital. We got to check you out. And I was like, I've got this on me. And he's like, well, do you have a way to lock it up in here? And I said, well, this thing is probably going to the pound, and I'm not leaving that at the pound. And he goes, no, I get it. I said, I'm going to keep it on my person. I'm going to call my wife. I'll go in the ambulance, but I want them to know that I've got this on my person. I'm cool. I'm not a bad guy. And she's going to meet me up there, and she's going to take it. I will only give it to her. And the cop was like, that's totally cool. No problem. So I was able to call her, prior, and I said, hey, I'm going to this particular hospital where they were taking me, and I need you to meet me at the emergency entrance, where they're going to be taking me to the ambulance. So my wife was there, and I handed off to her, and I said, I'm fine, but they're going to take me in here. And I said, you take that home, and you know what to do with it. So she took it home and came right back up there. So anyway, shit like that's going to happen in the world, but it is what it is. So hey, Trigger Bar's in the house. What's up, brother? Y'all go check out Trigger Bar. Go subscribe to him. He's doing some great videos. He's doing a crap load of ammo testing. Man, that guy is putting in some work. He's testing gel blocks, freaking clothing, denim, t-shirt. He is really putting in some work. So y'all go over there and show him some love, and go over there and check out his channel. Great guy. He's a good friend of mine. We talk text almost every day. But y'all go over there and sub up to him. Let's see here. Bad Karma says Golden Triangle, Beaumont, Orange Pete. Yep, Port Arthur. Yeah, I know exactly where you are, brother. Yeah, he's thinning out that way, man. Yep, I know exactly where you are. And yes, I would definitely carry. US Navy Vet says I have a bag under my seat of my motorized wheelchair I carry in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that he used to have a YouTube channel. I don't know if he does YouTube anymore, but wheeled and well armed. He had a little holster on his wheelchair, and that was cool. Trigger Bar said that was quick thinking, Big J. Yeah, because I knew, man, if I got in there with an ambulance, because they were going to cut my clothes off of me, Oh, and I had a brand new pair of tennis shoes on that I had ordered. They were camo tennis shoes, and I had just gotten them in, and I was wearing them that day when I broke my leg and tore up my ankle and everything. And I got in the ambulance. They put the air cast on me and put in the ambulance. The guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna have to cut this shirt, these shoes off of you." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're gonna untie them. I don't give a shit if you gotta pull the laces out of them. You're not cutting those freaking shoes. I just bought them. They're like $160. Like you're not cutting them." And he goes, "Well, I don't know if I can get your foot out." I was like, "Hell yeah, you can. It's just freaking dangling around. Whatever's broke's already broke." So anyway, he just undid them all and popped them right off. I didn't feel shit. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't cut those damn shoes up." And he tried to cut my shorts, and I'm like, "Dude, I can just pull my shorts up. You don't have to cut my damn shorts off of me." Pop Doctor says, speaking of hospitals, I'm on call and walking into the ER. See everybody next week. Thanks, Pop Doctor. Be careful, man. Damn, Pop Doctor's a doctor. Holy shit, I didn't know that. I thought it was just a name. Awesome, man. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. She can pump sand, man. That lady's freaking crazy. She acts all ghetto and grew up in the freaking suburbs. And she's a fraud and a half. She's been found out a long time ago. She was, "Oh, I'm an urban person." No, she's a freaking idiot. Anybody that listened to her and voted for her, whew, she ain't right. But it is 8:16. We'll probably get close to shutting this down. Any questions, comments, anything like that? Like I said, I didn't tell you all that story. I mean, it's true. It's 1,000% fact. I might call my guy and be like, "Dude, can you check your camera? I just want to let you be aware of something." I might just call and mention it to him, but I'm going to tell him, like, "Hey, check your camera, but don't make this a big deal within your dealership because, I just want y'all to be aware, but I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be in the limelight about this." I might mention it to him. It just happened. I didn't know what the hell to do. I've never had this happen before. I mean, I can handle a lot of other situations, but this was something I'm not familiar with because it's never happened. I don't think it's ever happened to anybody, but it happened to me, and it was definitely weird. So, bad karma, adios, man. Take care, brother. I appreciate you. What's up, Clyde Cumberland? How are you, man? Yeah, we're fixing to shut it down. We'll go in and watch some TV with the wife. Oh, I did get in another optic. I'll just go ahead and show you. This is a Vector. It is the RMSC footprint. The box actually started popping apart. I don't know why, but I'll just show you which one it is. It's the Frenzy. I'll start testing this one. It is an RMSC footprint, so I do have a gun that I wanted to test this on, and it's an enclosed emitter. They were out of the green. This was a brand new green one that they were going to send out to me, and they ran out of them. So they did send me the red version, which is fine. I mean, I like red. I have some green. No, I'm not opposed to green, but so they sent me the red version of this. What's crazy, there was no battery in the box, which is fine. I have my Lynx Defense battery holder, so I have tons of batteries. But there was no battery in the box. So I'm like, okay, is it positive up, positive down? Which one is it? So I pulled out the instructions, read it, said put the positive down, or no, I'm sorry, it said put the positive up in the tray, have the positive up. I read it 15 times. That's what it says in the instructions, put the positive up. So I put the positive up, put the tray in, screwed it in, didn't come on. I'm like, that's weird. So read the instructions again, put the positive up. So I'm like, open the tray. I said, the positive's up. Anyway, I just thought, okay, for shits and grins, let's put the positive down. Just for shits and grins. Let's go against the grain and against their instructions. Let's put the positive down. Put the positive down, put the tray in. Before I screwed it in, I looked at it, freaking lights on. So I'm like, damn instructions are wrong. So I'm like, how do you screw that up? So, because it specifically says, have the positive up. Well, no, you have to have the positive down. So I found that out. But it works fine. Actually a pretty good looking little dot. If y'all want to see it, I can show it real quick. Does come with a VIP, you know, it's got like some kind of a lifetime warranty or something. I'm really liking the Vector optics. I've got a few of them. This is one of their newer ones. But it comes with a little mount if you want to put it on a pick rail. But let's see if you can see this. Let me turn it up here. I'll turn it up a little brighter so everybody can see it. There's the dot. I'll put it on my face so you can see it. Hopefully y'all can see that. I turn it around backwards. So, but it's an enclosed optic. So there's this, it's actually a very clear optic. So, I mean, it'll crank up. You can get it really bright. But yeah, don't read the instructions because they're wrong. So, but anyway, seems like it works pretty good. And it does have the shake awake, so it'll turn itself off, or it's supposed to. So, but anyway, I'm actually liking their optics. And this is kind of cool that it comes with, they sent me even extra screws, because last time they didn't send any freaking screws. And I was like, hey, there weren't any screws in the box. And they were like, oh, we forgot. So I guess they sent me extra ones this time. And it comes with a kind of a cool little tool. It looks like an AR rifle, kind of. But it's got a little bit here for your side window. It's got a little pry bar here to open the door. It's got a little nut driver here for the 10 Torx. But it's kind of built like a little AR, and it's actually metal. So when it's pretty nice, it's not pot metal. I tried to bend it. I couldn't bend it. I was just going to see if it would bend. But that comes in this little box too. I thought that was kind of nice. But their box broke. It's supposed to snap on here, and it won't snap on anymore, but whatever. Oh, wow. Armsman says my CCW Defender went out again. Driving but still listening. Damn, that sucks. I'm hearing more and more of these vortexes failing. I'm glad I didn't invest in any of those. You're welcome, Trigger Bar. Yeah, Trigger Bar's got a great channel. All right, thanks, Ranger. I appreciate you. Thank you, Redbird. Y'all take care. But yeah, we'll go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. You know, like we're saying now, please reach out to an individual, your family member, friend, somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Check on them, make sure they're okay. And, you know, of course, please keep supporting our 2A rights. And again, have to decide, whatever state you're in, do what you need to do to protect yourself and your family. But I appreciate y'all so much. Remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on. That means carry a gun on you. So, but I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great evening. Thank y'all. Be safe and carry on, everyone. Take care.